And we'll try it again. Come on, mouse. There it is. There we go. Come on, come on. Nice. Okay. Bum, 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 bum. Excellent. Set the warning out. Make sure it's visible. And we are on to project, which is now centered. Great. Thank you. Here we go. Let's hope this doesn't freeze. As a warning, though, if it does freeze and I am in the middle of filming, I'm going to have to wait till I hit a actual break point till I can go give it another break and reboot it and everything again. So here's hoping we just don't have any more problems. That would be infinitely preferable to fixing screw-ups. The batting. Oh, cool. South Africa. Nice. Recording time. This orb has had approximately 24/36 hours to dry. When your orb dries, the first thing to note is be careful of the boundary between the orb and whatever you're using to hold it. It's very likely that mache paste has dribbled down over, gotten into there, and possibly crusted into this barrier. If you try to rip it or grab it and drag it to the side, that mache paste, while not razor edge, shall we say, can harden. And if it's hardened, it might be able to crust and break into your balloon and cause a pop. Now, this is not a catastrophe at this stage because your top and your supports are stiff. And if it does happen to go kaboom at this spot, you can just reinflate a brand new balloon into the void left by the old one. But be careful when you pull these off. Try to get them straight up. Don't try to get them to the side. Mine's already done a little bit of cheating. I've loosened it up. If you are really worried and you see some heavy crusting and you're panicking and you're afraid it's going to pop, just grab some water and a sponge, soak the area for a little bit, and any crusting will loosen up and get softened with the water, and then you'll be able to pull it off with no problem. But just beware of that. So here's our top. It's all nice and rooted up. This stuff is very, very, very firm, just like good old paper clay for a pumpkin. And here you kind of want to take your first step, reestablish your bottom versus your top. So make sure, check your vertical line, make sure that your balloon concept of bottom and top hasn't drifted. If you think this is your bottom and you start building, and all of a sudden your bottom hole might be, say, over drifting to one side where your top is down on the opposite side. So try to keep your verticality and your center axis line in mind as you do this next step. That being said, what you're going to do is plan for your light source. I am using, again, these submersible RGB remote controlled hockey puck lights for which I will have a link in the description on where to get them, and I will probably have a short segment discussing them towards the end of this video. I need to make sure that any hole I leave in the bottom here is large enough to grab one of these pucks and put it in there. On my orbs, I like to make sure also that I've got that hole in the bottom so that any additional light being generated by these guys can beam down from the orb and light a little bit of the ground beneath it. So I need to make sure that I leave a puck-sized hole for me to slide this in. That being said, I'm going to set up my orb in its spot, try to make sure that's centered by the camera, and I'm going to try to be responsible here, sort of. The only reason I'm hesitating to mark my puck-sized hole with a Sharpie is because the last time I marked one of these with a Sharpie, I started getting a slow leak. It's probably entirely unrelated, but it's left me just a little bit twitchy. But we're going to do it anyway because it's the smart and obvious thing to do. So my top and bottom are aligned. I'm just going to put my puck light on there and give myself a few guiding marks on where I want to make sure that I've got hole space to be. Yay! And there we go. All the rest of this is going to go everywhere but that hole. It's going to be a vacant area that we're going to have afterwards. And just like the top, we're going to start the same way. Going to use some saturated cotton batting. I'm going to give myself a nice border region here after it is well insaturated with the... I'm not saturating the balloon. I'm saturating the cotton. I'm getting all mixed up. I'm going to shut up and do some work. The dangers of overthinking everything. Just do the craft. Alright, as I lay this down, what I'm going to do is take the batting, lay it over this area that I have on the previous support section, and avoid the gap that I've marked. Down here, I have a piece that's going a little bit too far out. I don't want that going quite that far. I do want to say hi to the cat, but I don't want that going that far down, so I'm going to fold that back up. No, cat, it's just like that. It's not that hard. Don't worry, Samhan, you'll get it someday. Showing these cats how to do this has been a real pain. They don't have thumbs. And then you carry on with the next one. Same method. Lay your strip on, carry it right around. Make sure that you don't intrude into the area that's going to be your opening for the light. So there's the piece I folded back. I'm making sure that these opening top areas are staying unoccupied so I can get my light in there. Come to think of that, I'm just going to nudge them into a slightly more rounded shape. Here I've encountered a slight problem. My support is nowhere near my bottom. So all I'm going to do is grab a little bit more batting and extend it down and interlace it with my support. This doesn't quite have enough paste on it. I've got a little batting left. All I'm going to do is just take this spot right here, which has kind of a gap, fill it in. Again, this batting seems a little dry to me, so I'm just going to dip it real quick in my mache back here, which is off camera, just dunking it in, and use that to layer it on. Now I'm going to check my verticality. I've got my top here. That's going to be the center of that hole for my light. I'll make sure that I can get that in there with no trouble by overlaying it. If it looks like I can't get it on there, I'm just going to nudge the cotton back a little bit, because once this stuff dries and hardens, I'll have to get out a Dremel with a grinding bit to get that to work. Better to make it sure it's all going to fit now before it's a pain in the rear later. All right. That's all set. And for the most part, all the batting's in place. And then, just with the top, we pretty much repeat those same steps. The glorious rule of this project, as with most of these cotton bits, is filaments first. So I'm going to get all my tiny filament pieces and drape them down from this edge with the old raw cotton before I get into the big wormy pieces. Alright, now I should be in fast forward mode by now, gang. So, yeah, I see you guys had a little micro freeze problem. I see that rebooting fixed it. I'm glad, because that would have made me go slightly crazy! Hi, Sam. What's up, cat? Oh, boy. Ah, good, good. This is cotton, Squeegee Man. This is cotton. These bits are from cotton balls that have been unrolled. But shortly here, we're going to go to bits taken from cotton coil, because it is already pre-done and much easier to turn into the root gnarly wood pattern that's going to come out of this. This cat is whiny tonight. Damn. Yeah. And for my YouTube folks, I have already made and uploaded the first video for the Wytch bottle series. So that's all set. I'm currently working on number 3 right now. And they're taking a little longer than I thought they would. I thought it would be like a 3-video series. It's probably going to end up being a 5. But I don't, again, I'm making sure they only last at most 20 minutes. I don't want these to be long videos. I want people to be able to start watching, stop watching as they need to. Yeah. Yep. Cotton and paper mache gives you an effect that looks like gnarled wood and or just kind of a swampy, evil droop. It's a really good effect for super cheap. A very good effect. And when this part goes on the how-to video, this part will all be in accelerated time. I don't have a direct YouTube link right now, Squeegee Man, but if you do a YouTube search for my Twitch name, my channel will come up. It will have the previous live videos, and it will have all my paper mache pumpkin stuff. It'll have the everything. And as soon as the Wytch bottle videos tutorial is fully published, it will be there. Wow, what is wrong with that cat? He is never this whiny. Yeah, when I'm doing a tutorial, unfortunately, I don't actually publish the whole thing until I have all the pieces ready. That way they all hit at once. Sam! Come here. If I am lucky, that whole series will be done by Friday, if not before, though. Or at least the main part. The only video I'm going to do last and out of sequence with that self-same little proclamation is the add-on bits to the Wytch bottle. Because the dollar store doesn't have all their Halloween stuff out yet. Hi, Madge. You wanted to get away from his caterwauling too, huh? I know he's okay. Thursday, the dollar store will have all their stuff out. I can't wait. That'll probably work, Joanne. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. Yep, a little reboot should have done it, Rosani. I know my system here has got me still going strong. And on Twitch, I seem to be a-okay. I need to dry it out. I have made insulation, or I've used stuff to make paper clay with after just wetting my clay and then putting it right in the mix. So I'd say probably not. You should be fine with just wet shredded paper bits. That shouldn't be too problematic at all. Hi, Sam, what the hell's going on? You are all meow, 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 meow. What is your problem, cat? Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's in a super play with me mood. I can tell by the way he reacted to the laser. He was so, like, the instant he saw it, was full, oh, crouch. And Of course, now he's ignoring it. Weird. Weird cat. Weird. Don't sweat it too much, Joanne, at all. I mean, other things you can do is just use toilet paper. Yeah. That is also perfectly fine. It all works. Paper clay is very, very, very forgiving. Oh my god, cat. Jeebus. May have to get him a little catnip just to shut him up for a while. I have never seen him this bad before. I wouldn't want to use oblong balloons for a project like this. At least not under my current mind's eye of the project. Right now I'm very Wytch orb. Not Wytch donut or Wytch hot dog. There are likely other creepy shapes that could be very cool that, you know, I could conceivably use a balloon like that to start off with, but I'm just not seeing it in my mind right now, so. Maybe. But I have to think about it first. Okay. That being done, it is time to go back to cotton sections. Wow, I tried hard. Damn. I tried like organic plastic. Yeah, I mean, I'd find other ways to do other shapes. You could probably make a pyramid out of Wytch wood that would look quite cool. You could do that out of, you know, just a bunch of wire shapes stacked in a pyramid. You could make a wirework lattice and then cover all your wire pieces with the Wytch wood look and have a hell of a great thing. And then cover your inside with like wax paper or some other white paper to allow the light out. There's lots of cool shapes you could do. Very, very easily. So yeah, again, I just haven't considered an idea that I find appealing enough yet to jump on. Alright, let's go back to filming mode. There we go. Alright, witchy filaments are now all around the outer edge on the inside of the orb. And now we're going to continue to repeat what we did on the other side. I'm going to grab all those wormy pieces and start giving myself a lattice of Wytch wood. Just on the opposite side. We're going to go all the way around. Although, I should point out that at this point, if you don't want to have to worry about laying your branch work and details on top of a pre-existing lattice of wormy briar sections, you could start off with building off your extensions to your supports. You could start off by building your funky roots that go whichever way off your supports. You could start making your detail pieces that come out and do curly cues and branchy bits. So you could start there. And indeed, I might just do that for demonstration purposes, because traditionally I've gone right with the Wytch wood, but I might branch off a little bit, no pun intended, and do that as well. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to grab a bunch of tiny pieces here. That one was really, really flimsy. And I'm going to grab some cotton coil. I'm going to grab some larger pieces. I'm going to break them in half because, again, this cotton coil is very, very, very thick. If you try to use it singly, you will end up with pieces that are just entirely too large to do much with. In fact, that is too big of a piece. That's about what I used to make the entire support structure. But fundamentally, it's all saturated cotton. I could even throw raw cotton pieces in there from unrolled cotton balls and just start playing with it. All this stuff will come together no matter what. So we're just going to give these things a twist and start plotting out areas where I might want this to extend and branch. If you want, grab a spot, twist them together. All this stuff will interlock and interlace. Just mush it on and let it grab. Okay, I should be in a fast forward now so I can yak again. Hey Trav, how we doing? Glad you've enjoyed the tutorials and been able to make some use of them. Awesome stuff. A statue, damn. You have been busy. I haven't even made a statue. All this stuff is fun, Joanne. Honestly, my favorite project right now is the Wytch bottles. I really like doing those. And I think even when I am like around November or so, if I don't have anything else going on, I'll probably just start knocking together a Wytch bottle for fun. Nice. I want to do a scarecrow at some point. Really, really do. You guys will see him on the tutorials. First one for the Wytch bottle came out really well. Kind of proud of the intro. Hey Sam, welcome back. Have you decided to calm the hell down for a little bit, pussycat? You calm down. Yep, which bottle has got, let's see here, one episode filmed, processed, and all put together. The second episode is, it's largely all filmed, but it's a matter of now editing and uploading. For a while. Yeah, I don't like doing it otherwise, because what can happen is you could start a tutorial, and I know me, and I'm notorious for going cold on projects. So I could start a project, be really excited about it, put out part one of a tutorial, and then get depressed, blah, 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 life happens, blah, 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 halfway through, and then I don't put out, part 3, 4, 6 of the tutorial. And then all of a sudden, I've got a bunch of very, very, very upset, and rightly so as far as I'm concerned, crafters banging down the door going, hey, where's the rest of the tutorial? You can't just drop a set of instructions halfway through like that. That's not cool. So I do not post tutorials unless the tutorial is complete. Because it's not cool. It's just not cool. You don't do that to people. No. No. They must be edited, set, and done. And then I post them. Yeah. I'm kind of notorious for doing that, and I will not do that to folks online. If I start something on here, I finish it on here. I don't mind withholding the entire thing in a state of unfinished readiness, but I will not half publish a project and have people wondering where the other half is. That just, I'm not in this to make money or blah, 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 or do anything, but it kills your credibility as a video producer. And I'm not doing this for fame and fortune, but I will not be an uncredible source. Oh yeah, that jerk. Don't go to his site. He only puts out half his videos, waits 2 years, and then puts out the other half if he puts it out at all. Screw that guy. I ain't like that. Yeah. Be very mean, very unconscionable. It's not right. Plus, this is my holiday, man. I ain't gonna do that to my holiday. Hello, attention cat. How are you tonight? Would you like to meow to the folks on camera some more? Meow. In a way, it reminds me of some of the things I don't like about people on Facebook. You know, look at this project. That's awesome. How'd you make it? I'm not telling. Yeah, well, screw you too then. It's professionalism, damn it. It's the same reason why even though I don't have to wear a shirt and tie every day to my classroom, I do. Because I'm a teacher, damn it. And we gotta look professional. Cat. Oh, you are just over the top tonight, Furball. Right. Buys me street cred with the haunt scene. Do it right, first time round. Yeah. Haunt for life. I do not give my cats milk, no. They get half a can of canned cat food in the evenings, but no milk. Too many conflicting reports about the benefits of milk in the diet of furballs. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you'll also get those tutorials out there that are like that. Or ones that are just very, very half-ass. Like, here's what I did, and they'll show you pictures that don't actually show you a damn thing. Or they'll give you like 3 little micro shots. Here's what I did. I did this, and then I did that, and then I did that. Okay. That doesn't help. Oh, well. Ah, yeah, the old dreaded computer trap. We hit that trap here too, but only when we find ourselves in a staffing bind. Like a couple of years ago, we were shy of a math teacher, by which I mean we didn't have one, and we had no math specialists, so we had to get an online solution for math class. And so it was a lot of, all right, hop on the computer for math, everybody. But nobody liked that solution. And the students did not learn terribly well from that solution, but it was all we had. I tried to fill in a little bit, but I have a full class schedule, so I managed to take a couple of health classes because health is as far as I'm concerned, an absolutely bollocks subject. And I went down and I taught math for a little bit, but I'm not a math specialist. I'm a math enthusiast, but not a math specialist. Alright, we are establishing the witch wood back on the top of the project now, or I should say the bottom, and there is how it is starting to go and reform itself. Meow. Meow. Oh my God, Samhain. Shut up tonight, buddy bear. What? What? Stop. You're fine. We will play with the ribbon later. I will totally give you happy times later on with the ribbon. I look forward to playing with the ribbon later with you. But you need to calm down now. Hush. Go find your mom. Go terrorize her for a little bit. You love chasing her around the point. No, if you chase her around, you're going to come in barreling through here. You just need to take a nap. Go take a nap. You love naps. You love naps, Sam. Yeah. Don't give me that look. I'm a cat dad. Good boy. You're a good boy. Yes. Good boy. Well, even I'm heavily reliant on the computers, quite frankly. They have dominated the education scene, mostly for the sheer fact that I can show people all the pictures and the diagrams and the videos of things in motion on the computers, especially for biology. In few other subjects is that quite as darnably necessary. I always thought it would have been fun to go into social studies, but there's very, very few jobs for history teachers. But effectively, your job is to be a storyteller. Let me tell you about Hannibal and the Battle of Cannae. Here we go. I want a fire pit in the middle of my classroom. Gather round, children, gather round. We'll tell you of the fall of empires. Looks like the little furball took off for a little while. Hopefully he's going to go take a nap. Nope, he's terrorizing his mother. That will also work. Sometimes, Rosani, if I can get something prepared. One of the things I was thinking about doing for an alternate channel during the winter months was to do a scary story channel, kind of around the campfire. Quiet! I know. Shush. Do a around the campfire type channel. I'm a social. No, I'm not a social. I'm a science teacher. Science. Dun, 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 dun. All right, Sam. It wouldn't be too bad. There's a lot of video editing involved in it, and that's the most challenging aspect. Otherwise, it's a simple project and prospect. And that doesn't really daunt me. It's just a matter of getting it going and then finding the audience. Somehow I'll make you this deal. As soon as I hit a little break point, what we're going to do is we're going to go and get you some catnip. And you can space cadet out for a little while. Because you love your catnip. And we have a lot of it from Aldi's. Cool. A lot of people have been sending me pictures of their Wytch bottles. They've been really cool so far. And a couple of people have sent me pictures of their Wytch orbs. Alright, almost out of cotton. You about ready, Fuzzball? Yeah, audience is a more complicated question. Just because your folks who enjoy crafting, even if they like the concept of a scary story channel, may not have the time to sit down and listen to it. You're looking for slightly different audience. Okay. I am going to take 5 here, wash my hands off, and get this poor cat some catnip because he is very, very needy. I don't want him meowing his way through the video all night long. You, small fuzzy one. You are making me take a break because you are so meowy. Let's hope that freaking camera doesn't take off. Come on. Let's go wash my hands. that is nice, just to de-goop your hands for a little bit after that. This project is big on getting mache paste all over. Alright, where are you? Look like for a while. Come on. And the period. Okay. Now, that should occupy them for a little while. Oof. Oh. Stories could be good while crafting. Yep. Whew. Pardon. For me, I would need a little bit of prep, though, with that video series. I don't know if I could do it live, because I would have to read my story, prep my story. Because I've done live readings, not live readings, but I've done recorded readings before. And I'll tell you right now, you screw up every now and again. You go a little too fast, you mispronounce. That's one I want to do on a YouTube recording. And then the editing part comes in where you got to blend in some sound effects and whatnot. And that's where the nightmare comes in for YouTube production, because the sound effects that you use, are they copyrighted? So it's a project in the back burner of my brain. I think I'm gonna have more than enough crafty stuff though to do, and especially if I decide to buy this house. The crafting room and crafting area is going to get a huge upgrade. I'm not sure, Razani, honestly. I certainly thought it was when I was 12. But I don't know if the precise translation. I do know that the modern translation for Draken is kite. If you do a search on the web or Google from German and you search for Draken, you'll see lots of pictures of people on beautiful beaches and areas like that flying exquisitely done and shaped kites. I'm pretty sure Fang is still Fang. Though in German you'll probably find the pronunciation as Fang. These shouldn't be smaller. Yeah, so I think the precise translation these go is something more like kite tooth. Which, I don't really care. I am beyond the days of needing to have an amazingly cool name. In fact, I still joke about it with some folks. You see some of those people on there who, hi, what's your internet alias? So, I am Darkness, Shadow, Wolf, Dark, Hard, Darkness, Shadows, Wolf, Dark, Evil, Shadow, Darkness, Dragon, Wolf, Shadow, Darkness, Vampire, Wing, Darkness. I get it, okay? Just calm the hell down, alright? You're very impressive, yes, whatever. How's it going, Martin? Good old UK. I miss the UK a bit. Used to live in Southend-on-Sea and Raynham. Yeah, the old pumpkin vids are, I'm not going to say they're timeless, but they're timeless. They're every bit as useful today as they were when I filmed them a couple of years ago. Those methods are not lacking in their efficacy. Kind of one of the great things about crafting in general. Nothing you ever film on this will go out of date. Yep. Still highly effective mechanisms of making a pumpkin. Wow. Some days there's a lot in the name. Like I said, there's some people who just try too hard. And it regrettably shows. But it's all part of the journey, All part of the journey. And we'll see if I ever make that scary story YouTube channel. Of course, the other problem with that one too is you gotta tell scary stories without ripping off too badly, because you're gonna be ripping off all the folks who have already published scary stories. How's it going, Nuchu? Let me quickly see if I can goof this up. I feel like my first batch of these were better. I don't know. Maybe it's alright. Yeah, I think I may have just found the problem. Okay, well, whoops. the crafting peoples. We'll see what happens to the cats over the next half hour or so. Because they both just now had a whopping load of catnip. I'm hoping that will at least Space Cadet Samhain enough so that he is no longer constantly meowing in here piteously. I can hear him now. He's in the hallway, rolling in it and clawing at the carpet where I put the catnip down, which is fine. Yeah, we're nipping them up. Majesty, not so much, but Samhain was getting a little obnoxious. Wow, wow, wow. Alright, let's go back into filming mode for a bit here. Let's see if we can't get the bottom of this thing finished up. Get it rolling. It's getting there. Oh. Now, if I have more than 6 orbs this year, I'll be amazed. These guys take a while to put together this way. Looks better, but time consuming. Nice. I always thought it would be fun to have a crow or a raven, some sort of corvid species, but just wouldn't have the heart to keep mine in a cage. If it was a rescue and couldn't fly or something like that, then that would be okay for me. Yeah. That's what I thought too for initially. Thought paper mache. That's what the kindergartners do. I mean, how good could it be? It's crap I did in grade school. How did I learn to eat those words? Back when I did student teaching, I had a mentor teacher, not a professor, who kept a pair of Harris hawks, and he ran a business with them, and he would go through barns and places like that, and I'd fly the Harris hawks through, and they would chase out any pigeons and other, dumpster birds that had gotten into the barns and silos. And once the hawks chase them out, they don't come back. So, but he was a licensed wildlife rehabilitation person and did all that. I don't knock people who keep birds. It's a very, very cool thing to do. I just don't think that I personally could do it. Yep. Yep. No, again, I don't knock it at all. Nothing wrong with it. Just like the same way I don't think I could ever own a snake. It's just not in my personal animal comfort zone. Nothing wrong with it. Other people do it. Fine and doodly dandy. Just not me. I'm almost consider the way the world is now for an animal in general. The deal for dogs and cats. All right, you can go outside. You're not guaranteed of your next meal. There's other stuff out there that could, try to kill you and eat you. Indeed, will be looking to kill you and eat you all the time. There's no medical care, so if you eat something that's poisonous, nasty, or you catch a nasty intestinal parasite, there's nothing out there to stop it from burrowing through your guts and, out your sides as you vomit up blood. Or you could live with a human who will adore you and love you and feed you and take you to the veterinarian and take care. You can have that, or the other thing. On the other thing, you're quote unquote free. Y'all live with a human. Thanks very much. Free food, care, somebody to love me? Yeah. They're just not going to want me to leave, huh? But they're going to take care of me. I won't get sick. I won't ever get eaten. I won't have to worry about predators or any of that other nasty crapola. Okay. Sign me up. Yeah. Yeah, it's a different story for cats. Would you like your own personal servant? Sure. Sign me up for one of those. Time is 10:21. Oh. This orb feels like it's going so slowly. Mine don't go for the mache paste. I have given... In fact, the only one who has was been Sam Hain. I have given him a swat and told him no. Mostly for the fact that I don't want him going after the stuff that has the joint compound in it by accident. Well, Sam Hain's high as a kite right now, guaranteed. I haven't heard a peep out of him since I put the net down. Majesty's over in the hallway. She's passed out. She's kind of looking at me, but Sam Hain is Kaputski. Yeah, mine at least do know that I am the boss of the house. And all jokes standing aside, that is true. Some cats don't really go for catnip. Kind of affects cats the same way alcohol goes for humans. A certain portion of the population loves it, can't get enough of it. A certain portion of the population just doesn't give a darn. And it is very easy to grow. And what you'll find too very often is that you give your cat the nip, the cat goes after it, interacts with it, but once the catnip has gotten into the cat, the receptors that receive the catnip chemical become saturated, and so the cat afterwards is not as interested in the nip for a while after that. You can't keep getting a cat high on nip. Those same receptors just won't spike. Let's do a close-up for the camera here. Alright, Wytchwood is progressing along and around the bottom, the inverted bottom of the orb. We're going to keep on going at it. I'm with you, Joanne. I don't like keeping plants that die on me. I do keep cacti alive, but just barely. Of course, you do have to be careful with cats and cacti, because some cacti produce alkaloids that are toxic to furballs. My cats have tried to eat my Christmas cactus and my Thanksgiving cactus a couple of times, and they have puked their guts out. They don't go after them anymore. I don't know why I'm yawning. I got up really, really late in the afternoon. Paper clay might be lighter, but the detail level will be variable depending on the type of paper clay that you use. You'd want to use the toilet paper clay and not the cellulose fiber paper clay. Toilet paper will hold detail infinitely better than the cellulose fiber. I will do a spell book at some point, but my spell book will be incredibly non-traditional. Mostly because my Halloween witch concept is somebody who is in fact illiterate of normal writing. Very literate in the symbols of magic, which mean nothing to anyone else, but the language of magic is not, it's not English. That kind of stuff, Tracy. I haven't given my full thought to it yet, but yeah, similar to that. I hope so. Yeah, no kidding. Screw all this witch stuff. We're doing spellbooks now. Yeah. Covering textured stuff can be a pain. almost done. Nice. I haven't seen a hockey game in a long time. Hi, Madge. How you doing, cat? Okay, this is just about set. last little bit right there. Actually, okay. Let me go back to video mode here for a little bit. When you get to the top of your project, you may be tempted to keep trying to take your witchwood wormy bits all the way to the very edge. Don't. You'll go insane trying. Just get them close to it, stop. When this thing is finally set and done, it's going to be inverted, and very few people are going to be poking their noggins up underneath here to see what you took the whole thing as far as you could that way. Save yourself the frustration. Just stop when you get to about this point. Otherwise, your whole bottom looks great and gross and good. At this point, too, you can keep going and trying to do more details off of your supports. I am not. I've been doing this for a couple hours now. My fingers are a little cramped and a little angsty. So I am going to stop and throw this thing under a fan and let this all harden. And I'm going to make sure that I do not run the risk of knocking into something that I've already done, bending it out of place, and otherwise just getting it which, you know, the thought of doing that fills me with dread. Far better to have it all set and hard and in good shape so I don't have to worry about that. So when I do add my extra detail bits, it'll be already locked. Whew. How's it going, Danielle? Majesty the cat, how are you? Why are you not passed out like Sam Hain is? Oh. Oh. Let's get this all covered with paste on any parts that seem too dry and unbonded. In my satchel, I've got one of those little plastic scientific droppers to use for dribbling things. I should have remembered to bring that in here because it would be devilishly useful. So the last phase of this thing is just going to be going over with raw cotton, building in some Burton curls. Oh yeah, protuberances. Let's do those. Yeah, it's working out well. It's working out well. Now that I think of it, we're going to do a quick filming segment on protuberances because now is the perfect time to do that. And I can do that with the main project still incomplete. I'll start saving these tubes again. sense an increase in the crafting I will be doing over the coming months. On the extent to which the furballs will go after the stuff I am working on. Okay. So, protuberances. I want to put this somewhere safe, but I have nowhere safe to stuff it. A fresh bag of coil. I suppose that's about as safe as it's going to get right up there. Yeah, I found the best way to do protuberances. Fortunately. Because doing them the way I used to do them was just madness. Absolute madness. Absolute craziness. Craziness. Total, complete craziness. I'm going to do a quick video section on protuberances. That's going to fall over if I don't do something. Alright, cutter. Shouldn't need raw cotton. This should be enough to do all the protuberances for this one. I think I need 6-ish protuberances. Don't need yarn. I need my wire. So it was cut the wire, wrap it in half the thing soaked, take the other half one, spiral it around it, and call it good, and bend it into the shape. Yeah, we're going to throw some serious Burton curls on this one. And call attention to three-dimensionalness to this one. Okay. And we may look at multifaceted protuberances. Alright, let's put the raw cotton away. Let's clean up the area just a little bit. It's all going online, Joanne. It'll either be in the tutorial. Well, it's going to be in both. It's going to be in the live stream. It's going to be in the tutorial. It's going to be in the live stream first, unedited. It's going to be in the tutorial, all succinct and clarified. Okay, give me the version 2 Wytch orb. Let's hit the camera. And let's talk about protuberances. Almost any beauty supply store, Danielle, or get it from Amazon or some other online vendor. That's the spot for cotton coil. Beauty supply will probably be your cheapest. I think Sally's Beauty Supply is the one people were mentioning. And I think that's where I found it, about $3.29 per. And it's about 40 feet per packet. One packet will do 2 Wytch orbs. Thereabouts. If you use the current method that I'm using. $1.50 an orb. I mean, you can't go wrong there. You lucky people. You got all your Sally's real close. I gotta find out if there's one near me. course, that'll be shocking as hell. Fat guy comes waddling in. I need beauty supplies. It's not for me. I'm beyond saving. It's for Halloween. Alright, let's film this. Okay. This object here is the second witch orb I ever made. And this is the first one where we ever experimentally put these tiny little stick-out bits on them, which I have come to call protuberances, because that's exactly what they are. These can be added to witch orbs to make them a little bit more sticky and branchy. Can be tossed all the way around. They are, however, a slight bit of a double-edged sword. Problem 1 with protuberances. Storage of the witch orbs becomes more problematic. Unlike a nice spherical witch orb, which is what I did on my first version, this guy will not play nicely with other witch orbs. It will hook up into them, it will collide with them, it will want to grasp them, it may poke them, it may poke into them. There are problems with protuberances and storage. Problem number 2 with the protuberances. If you have them, they can get pointy and sharp. I'm not talking about, razor edge needle sharp, but I am talking very stiff and pointy because you have paper mache saturated in cotton and it gets about as hard as paper clay sharp. And if some unwary kid in the middle of Halloween night goes walking into one of these things and catches it in the eye, you're looking at a lawsuit. So be very careful if you decide to put these onto your witch orb. That being said, I'm putting these onto my witch orb because they look amazing. I love having these extra branchy little bits here, and I love having these cool little Tim Burton curly cues on there. I just love the enhancement to the look. The first time I ever did them, I took wire and I glued them to the incomplete witch orb, and then I wrapped cotton around them that was saturated in mache paste, and that was a frigging nightmare. So here is how you do protuberances without driving yourself absolutely nuts. Incidentally, this is also how you make hangers that your, hanging material of choice, I'm using brown yarn on all mine, but it's how your hanging material of choice will loop onto and into your witch orb. To kick off with, all my protuberances are made from this garden wire. Wrapped in plastic, this stuff is approximately, I would guess this is 18 gauge plastic wrapped garden wire. And to make a protuberance, you're going to grab your wire cutters of choice, because obviously this is not the only kind of wire cutter that you can use. Decide how long you want your protuberance. Bear in mind, a certain amount of your protuberance at a right angle is going to be the part that is flush with and sticking to your... God, the lighting on this is terrible for me. Hopefully it's good for you. That's going to be the part that's sticking to your witch orb. So a certain part of this is going to be the bit that is actually making contact with, sticking to the witch orb, and holding to it. The rest of this is going to be spinning off in whatever direction and being the protuberance. So leave yourself some stuff to actually stick to and adhere to your witch orb. So let's start with a protuberance here that's going to be about, that long. So here's my protuberance. For anybody who is anal retentive, this protuberance is 4 1/4 inches long, and my section of bonding is approximately 1 inch. So 1 inch along the short edge, 4 1/4 inches along the top edge. If you don't know those measurements, that's what Google's for. Next step, grab yourself some cotton coil, which I am running out of, but thankfully I have more of. Grab an equivalent length of cotton coil. Take that cotton coil that is equal to the length of your protuberance and tear it in half. Take the thicker half, if you have a thicker half. If you don't, then just grab either half. And tease that thing out. So rather than a whole big wad, it is as open as possible. There we go. Take your piece of wire, wrap the cotton around it. Completely and entirely. And twist it up in the cotton. Sometimes this works better if you do not put your bend in just yet. Keep it straight, but bear in mind that bend will have to be in there eventually. So here is my wire wrapped in cotton. I've got a little bit of extra on the ends. I'm just going to pop it off. I'm still going to leave a buffer of about a ½ inch on there on either side. I don't want this right to the edges. But here I have wire wrapped in cotton. Then I'm going to dunk this stuff into my mache paste. And squeegee it out a little bit. I am just pinching the cotton to squeeze the remainder of the fluid out. So wire wrapped in cotton, soaked in mache paste. Now, going to take the other half of that bit and I'm going to saturate it in mache paste, except I just ripped that in half, but this still doesn't matter because it still works. I have a little bit of fluid left in my saturation chamber. Saturated piece of cotton, wire wrapped in paste, and now I'm just going to twist it right around the other. And this is going to form my protuberance. I have that extra piece right here that fell off. Ideally they'll stay together, but in this case they didn't, so I'm just going to soak this and repeat the procedure. Squidge out the extra paste, find where it left off, and wrap it. If it gets to the end and I've got too much, I'm just going to pop it off right there. If I have uneven pieces, I don't care. If it looks like it's coming out of shape, whatever, twist it up. So here's my protuberance. At this point, I'm going to bend it into whatever shape I want it to be. The temptation is to make it into a flat branch shape, however it wants to be, blah blah. However, don't forget you have 3 dimensions to work this. You don't have to make it flat. So in this one, I have not worked in this dimension at all. I can still make it that shape, but I can work in this dimension too. So I have this, but it is not completely flat out. I can shape this in 3 dimensions, and indeed I'm going to. This will give you a little bit more workability and more options in your protuberances. Last step though, make sure you have that bend for where this thing is going to stick to your orb. So mine's going to stick to the orb right around here. And it's going to come off wherever I decide to put it. Then you let your protuberance dry and harden overnight. Don't try to shove this onto the orb right now. Let this set, harden, and get itself where you want it first. And then, when you're ready for it, then you stick it on. You can make your protuberance any way you want. Put it around, bend them through. I mean, I don't need to tell you guys. If you're watching this, you're imaginative already. Make your shapes and make them cool. Enjoy. But again, beware of the points. If some little kid goes walking close to my witch orb in the middle of the night, doesn't see this, that can jam them in the face, and you don't want that. So I'm going to set this aside and let that dry. Next step of protuberances. It isn't really a protuberance. You're going to need spots for your hanging stuff to connect to your witch orb. Works in the same exact way. Cut yourself a piece. This piece is going to be forming a loop that eventually you're going to have some sort of wire going through, and this is what your orb's going to hang by. If you need a spacer, then grab yourself a piece of wood or a paintbrush, something that you can wrap and get a size idea on to make sure that that's going to work just fine. I know this should be big enough, and this has the same procedure. Take your wire, take your cotton coil, find a piece that's big enough. You don't have to do a double spiral on this one. You can just wrap this one piece up, dunk it, and call it good, but you can double it if you wanted to. I'm going to give this a try. My last witch orb I did not, and I'm kind of curious to see how it is. So I'm just going to tease this open. I'll put my wire on here. I'll try not to pull it apart. I'm going to twist the cotton around my wire. Dunk it in mache paste and squeeze the excess fluid out. I could stop here and just turn this into a loop and it'll be good enough, but I want to try the full methodology. should still have enough left in here to soak this. Squeegee it out. Grab what's going to be my wire hanger. Wrap this piece around it. Twist it tight. And now, in order to make my loop, I'm just going to wrap it around. Be ready for it to drip and dribble a little bit. If you want to be really savvy about this, have a sizing device handy. Last time I used my Sharpie. I've got a couple sculpting tools here that'll do the same thing. And I am just going to twist this wire together a little bit here. And then I'm going to cock it a little bit to the side. And when I attach this to the orb, that loop is going to hold whatever thread I use to suspend the orb from. And that will harden in that shape overnight. So if my witch orb is here, this is going to stick to it and hold it on. I have a little bit here that is a little bit loose. I don't quite like that. I'll scan for my scissors. Snip this bottom bit off. And just give it a little bit, a last twist. I hang all of my orbs with 3 loops. You can do 4 or more, depending on how you want to hang it, but that's the general procedure for making one of the loops. They all get hot glued to the witch orb, and then a last little bit of the cotton gets put over them to blend them fully into the design. So those are your loops, and these are your protuberances. I'm going to make a bunch more, and I wish you well in yours. Alright, I'm going to be in fast forward now, so I can chat again. So it looks like Azure Muse showed up. Welcome, Azure. And yep, I was filming at the time, so I could not break off. I love these fast motion segments. I can actually still just yak away. That's why you always keep more than one project going at once. You got the while things are drying project and the main project. I gotta really not ever tug on this coil again. I am amazed at how much the cats have quieted down. I have no idea when I will start a Wytch book tutorial. No idea whatsoever. I have to put a lot of thought into that because while I know I want a very non-traditional spell book, I don't know what a non-traditional spell book completely looks like in my head. I know what I want, I just don't know what it looks like, so I have to figure that part out first. Yeah. Here's a classic spiral protrusion. Not really, Tracy. It's been a while. Occasionally, I will jot down an idea on a piece of scratch paper if it is absolutely burning in my brain, but no, I can't say the house is littered with sketchbooks full of my dark ideas or anything like that. So, not really, no. I know some folks who do, but I don't. Not as a rule. If anything, I will have the odd piece of loose leaf paper that has ideas for me, and then I will make the thing and make a tutorial on it. And then I really don't need much else in the way of recording because I've already made a video on how to do it. So. In that regard, YouTube is my grimoire. Yes, this paste is the exact same as the pumpkin paste. Zero differences. Flour, glue, starch. Flour, glue, starch, water. Done. Yeah, I can't use Pinterest because I just start scrolling. I find I have spent all my time scrolling and none of my time doing. It's like I have 30,000 pins and I've done nothing. I am the wrong kind of person for Pinterest. I gotta do stuff. But who knows? We all change over time. My way of doing things may well evolve as well. How are we doing this one? After a fashion, I suppose. I wouldn't want to use recyclable toilet paper. Not freshly recycled, at least. Oh. Yeah, I did not add the whatchamachinazits, the joint compound to this paste at all. No need for it. That's 1, 2, 3 protuberances. The one bit of research I did do on the symbology I was thinking of considering for a Wytch spell book were the absolute most primitive symbols ever used by humankind, of which there are about 12 of them. And I kind of wanted to incorporate that into the concept. But we'll see. Yeah, I wouldn't use Egyptian. Doesn't fit the theme of my haunt. I mean, you could if you wanted to. I just wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't want to use anything that's already on the board. Ogham script or anything like that. It's all... everybody knows it. I want to come up with something completely new. Yep. Something that's very different. And again, it's something I want to sit down and have a long, thinky ponder about. We're gonna have to order some more coil. I don't like having not having a secondary set. And this is the last of this first bunch of 40 feet. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 2 more protuberances and 2 more holders. Gonna be small protuberances. 2 more holders. Let's see here. Well, if which bottle goes 4 to 5 videos, which orb is going to go 6 to 7 videos? Wow. No, not at all. If you guys want to promote my stuff at all, feel free. Feel free. I don't care where it turns up. Likewise, if you have any craft stuff that you want promoted, just do me a favor and drop off what you want on my Unhallowed Haunt site, or shoot that thing a private message, or find me on the interwebs of Facebook, shoot to me in a private message. I'll take a look at it, and I'm sure we could handle some cross promotion here. Nothing is ever lost through cross promotion. Just don't be offended if I ever go, I'd like to, but I choose to decline. Not that I would, I just might, and I'll have my reasons for it, and I'll give them to you if you ask me, but, you know. I reserve the right to say, thank you, no thank you. I doubt I ever would, because you guys are generally pretty darn cool. But, just throwing that out there. Yeah. I love your channel. Will you promote my company? I make babies getting butchered for Halloween displays. That's a little much for me. Thank you, no thank you. Look, this one's being eviscerated. No. There are some aspects of the haunting hobby that I just don't want to promote. And I'll try not to ever think of it as inferior or superior Nuchu. There's people out there who have skills that I am in envy of, but don't ever get in that trap of better than, worse than. We all just do it differently. Alright. It's a big one. Those are my small ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one's gonna be... You can be jealous. That's fine. But just be working toward making you more you. Rather than wishing you were me. Because sometimes I look at my wood burnings of Norse-based stuff, and I look out there and I see other people's Norse-based stuff. I'm going, God, my stuff is crap. But you know what? It's just, that's the way my art is. Done. It's my style. If I want to change it, I can change it. I got to sit down and work on it. It'll take quite a while. Yeah. Not that I think you're in danger of it, but I meet so many students, especially at school, who they fall into that trap of I'm not perfect. Oh, look at me, I'm not perfect. Oh God, I suck. I'm awful. I'm never gonna keep going with whatever. And it's no, it's not the way it works. Yeah, like I said, you're not in the 15-year-old trap, thank God. But so many students, not even students too, adults, burgeoning artists everywhere. Yeah, all over the place. Oh my God, I'm not perfect. Did you see so and so? Their stuff is perfect. Their stuff is amazing. I'm not like their stuff, so I'm crap. Yeah. Yeah. Teenagers and again, many adult artists too kill themselves before they. I shouldn't say kill themselves, but they murder their. It's not even their self-esteem. They just. I guess it is their self-esteem. Eh, you guys know what I mean. They decide to lose the race before the starting gun's even fired. Because they looked at the shoes of the racer next to them and decided they already lost. shut right down. And there's lots of causes for it, but yeah. Great problem with art and artists these days. Signature move. Let's do a other directional curl. I have no idea how it's going to look. It's got to go around like that. Just realized I've been making protuberances and I haven't been showing many of them off because I'm kind of on automatic and chatting with my live streamers, but there's yet another one. And again, 3 dimensions, not 2 dimensions. Take them away. Once went to the state fair, watched a blacksmith at work. He said, blacksmiths never make mistakes. We make RDCs, rapid design changes. a film I haven't watched in quite a while. So I was just watching Harry Potter earlier. It was a nice one to get back to. Nice. Ghost Witch is a cool idea. I don't like doing gore on my haunt either. I think gore and shock value stuff is, quite frankly, an amateur technique. It's like a chainsaw on a haunt. Yeah, it'll work, but I mean, really? Come on. Yeah, there are some haunts that are practically built around gore, and there's many haunts that have sections that are all built around it. I just don't find it scary, quite frankly. Ooh, the butcher shop. Ooh, body parts hanging from the ceiling on hooks. Ooh, yawn. Yeah. I don't gross out very easily. It's also why the asylum stuff really doesn't creep me out that much either. Oh, I'm crazy! Whatever. But then again, haunters are notoriously hard to scare. I like spectral and dread. Alright, I have just made 6 protuberances for this witch orb and 3 loops for my hanging threads at the top. That is how you make them, and No doubt you will see more of them when we come to the stage where we're going to tack them onto our project with some hot glue, and then we're going to cover up any areas where they do not seem to match and fit into the motif with some hot glue, and we'll catch you for that section when we get there. Oh. Ah! Excellent. Yay. I finally get to pull all these bits of ducky crud off my hands. I used a lot of glue in this batch too. Should be fun to peel it off. Yeah, I always like to make sure that I give myself a good lead-in time for the edit and a good lead-out time for the outro. Just because you can edit that all you want, but if you don't give yourself enough time, there's not enough time there for the watcher or the viewer to take a little breath in between the sections. You need enough time for their brains to say, okay, we're transitioning. It's kind of the same way in a classroom, too. If you're doing a particular lesson and you're pacing on one topic and you're mitosis, meiosis, mitosis, meiosis, mitosis, meiosis, and then you want to transit into something else. If you don't break your teaching cadence and you transit into that other idea, the kids are still going to be locked on the old cadence. So you have to mitosis, meiosis, mitosis, meiosis, meiosis, mitosis. Asexual, sexual, asexual, sexual. Something different. We gotta throw a wrench in there. Thing. Much the same way in the online stuff. If you transition, you have to transition with about a 3-second gap. Whew. I need to brew some more mead myself. I got a carboy that's been sitting behind me for about 1.5 years now, ready to harvest. I hit it with sulfites, so everything in there is toast. I just haven't had the time to get the kitchen completely sterilized and get all the bottles sterilized and run through the bottling procedure. It's not going anywhere, so it's not a problem, but still. You guys will all love the next one. Come to think of it, why don't we have a little special promo here? If y'all give me a second, I will go drop the link for the Wytch Bottle Part 1 tutorial into this chat. Ugh. Just do me a favor, don't spread it around, because officially it is unreleased. It is unlisted on YouTube. but I will give you guys the link. It's going to be the live stream promo thing as soon as I get this mouse behaving. I'm not going to complain about this mouse too much. It's trying to talk to the computer in the other room. And it's a long way away from that thing. Yep. All right. I'm in the right spot, so I'm going to go to the other room and give you guys the link to the Wytch Bottle Part 1 unreleased for public consumption video. I'm going to come back in here and finish it up for the night. Oh. In fact, I'm going to quickly cap this. Remember, the other parts of the Wytch Bottle stuff are not actually out yet. They won't be for at least a couple of days because I got to edit them. But you'll have the inside scoop. Let's get that going. Arr. Good. So that is the super secret link to the as yet unreleased Wytch Bottle tutorial part 1. Don't spread it around too much. And the rest of it, hopefully by end of this coming week, or early next week should be up. So, with that though, I am going to start heading to bed. Well, not to bed. I'm going to go edit more videos because I am not that tired. I got up rather late today, and my sleep schedule is schlepping more towards a nocturnal. But as usual, thank you all for hanging out with me again as we film this. We've got maybe 1, 2, 3, not much more than 3 more sessions on the Wytch orb, and then that thing will be all set. We just gotta do the details, do the protuberances, and it will be in good shape. Have a fantastic night, everybody, and we will catch you around. I'm gonna do chores while I finish up. One of y'all open this thing. Thank you much. It will be it'll be a good time. I like getting my editing done. No. Let's get a fan on this thing, and let's not drop it. Good. Right, dishes. Dishes. Too bad. Shea paste in the fridge. Alexa, turn off craft light.